Hello everyone, it's another video from LBV Essentials. I want you to take the time and to thank everyone for watching my previous video and this video as well. Today I'm going to share with you guys a quick testimony which kind of goes along with one of the community service events that I have coming up. So at the age of about 8 or 9, I had a near-death experience. I suffer from asthma since childhood and still kind of up to now, just not as bad. And I remember one morning we were getting ready for school, and there was an old rocking chair that one of my aunts gave me, and there were some bugs crawling on it, and I just grabbed the bug spray and sprayed and inhaled the fumes. By the time I had inhaled the fumes, my lungs kind of closed and I couldn't breathe. And the next thing I remember was my mom rushing out of the house, grabbing me, my sister, and my brother, and putting us all into the car. At the time I stayed in St. Cloud, Florida, and we were roughly less than 10 blocks away from the hospital, and she was en route to take me to the hospital. I remember looking over to my left because I was in the passenger side and looked at my mother, and I completely lost consciousness. From that point on, there's bits and pieces that I remember, but mostly from everyone else's account. My mother stated that she pulled up at St. Cloud Hospital and opened up the door. She still has kind of a scar on her leg from opening the door so quickly, and she was, basically screaming for help. And the nurses and doctors came out and they took me in. And when they took me into the hospital, she said that I was beyond blue. I was purple. And the nurses and doctors took me into the room, and I was on life support. I had breathing tubes, I had tubes everywhere, and they were giving her papers to basically sign off and say that I was dead. The doctor said if I lived, that I would be in a vegetated state, and that would be the rest of my life because of the fact that I lost so much oxygen from the time that the incident happened to the time we went to the hospital. They gave my mother all these papers to sign off, and she said that she didn't even understand all the papers that they were giving her, and she went to the nursing station and asked if anyone at the nursing station, if anyone is a Christian and if anyone believes in God, if they would be able to come into the room with her and pray for me. And she said one nurse stood up and said, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I will go and pray with you. So my mother said they went into the room, they allowed her in the room. It was her, the nurse, my sister, which was about 2 years old at the time, and my younger brother, who was about 5 at the time. And of course my sister, she's 2, she can't pray, and my mother was just telling her to say, God, give me my sister back, God, give me my sister back. And my brother could pray, and she said, we're going to hold hands and we're going to pray and we're going to ask God to bring Danielle back. She also had called the church secretary at that time and enlisted her to call all of our church members, friends, and family to be in prayer because of what was going on. My mother said that they weren't even done praying, and the nurses and the doctors rushed into the room, and she thought, this is it, Danielle is gone. But the doctors were saying, she's starting to respond, and they asked everyone to clear the room. And everyone cleared the room, and then they decided that there was some glimmer of hope, and they were going to airlift me from St. Cloud Hospital to Arnold Palmer Hospital. At that time, we had just moved to Florida. Most of my family, even to this day, most of my family is still in New York, but we had no immediate family. We just had our church. And my father at the time, was working in Tampa, and we were living in St. Cloud, so it was quite a commute. And they pretty much told my dad, there's no point to rush from Tampa to St. Cloud. By the time you get here, Danielle will probably already be gone. And just that glimmer of hope, and to be airlifted to Arnold Palmer, was a great time for both my parents. I don't recall anything that happened during that time. The only thing I recall was when I was being airlifted from St. Cloud to Arnold Palmer, and I just remember seeing the top of trees, and I felt like my body was, going up, and I was just like, am I going to heaven? And I remember, having a conversation with God, even at that age, saying, God, I'm not ready, I'm not ready to go yet. And I remember the nurse saying my name while I was kind of opening my eyes, and I could see everything. I could see all the tubes. And I lost consciousness again. And the next point I remember was waking up at the hospital at Arnold Palmer and having tubes everywhere, tubes down my throat. And when I woke up, my parents were at the foot of the bed holding hands. And even with the tube down my throat, I remember mouthing to my mother, I love you, because I recall bits and pieces of what happened. It's very emotional for me to tell this story, but I've learned that it is important to tell your story. And it's not for my glory, it's for God's glory. To be able to say, a lot of people say, if it wasn't for God, I don't know where I would be. In my case, I do know where I would be. I would be 6 feet under. I would have been an afterthought to many, but God graced me, and I'm here today. And life is beautiful, and it's beautiful because I'm able to live it. So with that being said, this is why I have partnered up with Ronald McDonald's house. If you're not familiar with Ronald McDonald house, even in your area you might have one, but it is a place where families who have been struck by whatever incident it may be, they're staying at the facility for weeks on end instead of staying at a hotel, and it allows them to save money and to be close to the hospitals where their either wife or child is. And I recall being at the hospital, and one of the things that really kind of is me, I love sweets, and there were so many people visiting me. At the time there was even the children of the church that were coming and visiting me, and we would leave my room because I was in the intensive care unit for about a week. And every kid that would come and visit me, I would go to the refrigerator and get them ice cream, or go somewhere and get them candy. As kids, we know that that's what kids love. Even adults, we struggle with it now. So this month, I decided that I was going to do a little Easter surprise for the children and families that are staying at the Ronald McDonald house in Orlando. It ends April 3rd, but I will be working closely with Ronald McDonald's house in the future, just because they have such a great impact on Arnold Palmer and Winnie Palmer hospitals. But I just wanted to just share that testimony with you guys, just so you understand why that organization is dear to my heart. If you haven't had the opportunity to volunteer there, wherever you may be, I suggest you do so. It's just such a rewarding experience. Even now, my company, we do something with them on a monthly basis, whether it's putting these snack packs together or going and assisting the facility. It's a great experience, and I think that if you have the breath of life, it is important to think beyond yourself and to be able to impact the lives of those who are around you. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope that you guys are blessed. I hope that this video has blessed you, and just continue to watch out for anything LBV. Also, if you see, I'm wearing a shirt that says "She is Victorious." I'm supporting my young sister in Christ, Melissa. If you are not following She is Victorious, the Instagram name is _She is Victorious 465. She's doing awesome work in the community, and also, uplifting and encouraging young women as well. So please support. I thank you, and God bless you. Many blessings.